Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome here today to my NBA 2018-2019 standings and award prediction video. So this is actually like my first NBA talk video in a minute, and it's going to be first of many once the season starts up. I'm also going to have another video, NBA talk video, hopefully out tomorrow. But yeah, I will be explaining my standing predictions this year, Eastern and Western Conference, and my award prediction for MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved, and Coach of the Year. So if you guys enjoy these type of videos, can we maybe hit like 750 likes? I would appreciate that a lot. I'm hopefully going to have a rebuild out later today. It might be out like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Eastern time, so just be on the lookout for that. I think it's going to be a standard rebuild. Tomorrow, you're going to hopefully be getting my hot take video along with a Knicks realistic rebuild. So, yeah, hopefully that will come in the future. And, yeah, so I guess we could just get into this. So, I guess we'll start off in the Eastern Conference. My standings will go from 1 to 8 now. The first, 6 teams in this conference that, I placed 1 to 6 were pretty easy to, decide what teams are going to fall into that category. Seeding them was a little bit tricky, but it wasn't as hard as when we get to the Western Conference. Start off, 1 seed, Boston Celtics. I only think there's one team that could really fight them for the 1 seed, and that's the Toronto Raptors, which I wouldn't be shocked seeing them win the 1 seed at all. But I'm going to go with the safe pick here. They obviously have the best roster in the Eastern Conference, obviously have the second best roster in the NBA. Top to bottom, they're super deep, super healthy this year. As long as nobody gets hurt, they'll be very good. Boston, I have them as the 1 seed, but very close behind them, Toronto Raptors. I think they got better. Yes, they lost Jakob Poeltl, but they just upgraded DeMar DeRozan to Kawhi freaking Leonard. It's very good. That is a very good addition to that team, and I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the 1 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the Eastern Conference in general and go to the NBA Finals, but yeah, I do think that the Raptors will be very good, 55-plus wins, but I do expect the Celtics to get in that 60 range most likely. Bucks at the 3 seed. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, where's Philly? Maybe there's going to be some people, where's Indiana? You know what? I don't want it to make it like everyone has Philly as their 3 seed. I want it to have a nice team or a team that I'm super high on, and I'm super high on the Bucks this year. Mike Budenholzer, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Malcolm Brogdon, Eric Bledsoe. I'm super excited to see this team, and I'm high on them. And I think that they do have a good shot at being better than the 76ers or the Indiana Pacers or the Washington Wizards. So I know people are going to hate that prediction, but yeah, I do have the Bucks as the 3 seed. 4 seed, Philadelphia 76ers. Still an incredibly talented team. Hopefully Markelle Fultz actually lives up to his rookie hype or his number 1 overall draft pick hype this year. Ben Simmons is honestly an incredible player. Joel Embiid, who I'll talk about him later on in this video. He's one of the best centers in the league, arguably the best center in the league, and a top 15 player, no doubt. But just with a little lack of just playmaking, shooters besides, obviously they have J.J. Redick, who's honestly amazing for his role. But really, Covington, great defender. I don't know how that team is just going to function with some certain lineups. Obviously, I don't think they're going to start Fultz. They're probably going to go Ben Simmons at the 1, Redick at the 2, Covington, then Sarge, then Embiid. But I don't know with the lineups out there with Simmons and Fultz, especially if they take Redick out of there. Shooting kind of dips down, and then Joel Embiid's their best 3-point shooter on the floor, which is very obscure for a center to be like that on the floor because Ben Simmons, obviously we know he can't really shoot. Fultz, he might actually be a decent 3-point shooter. We just really don't know. It's obviously because last year he just didn't know how to shoot. But yeah, I have the Sixers at the 4 seed. Wouldn't be surprised if they were at the 3 seed. I would be a little bit surprised if they jumped up to the 2 seed this year, but I guess we'll find out. 5 seed, Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers are a little bit overrated right now. People think that they are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I mean, if you want to say they are as the 5th best team, sure, but I think the Bucks, 76ers, Raptors, and Celtics are clearly better than them. If you want to bring up that they pushed LeBron to 7 games in the playoffs, sure, go for it. But the Bucks pushed the Celtics to 7 games, and the Celtics, without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, did the same. So it's not like you pushed LeBron to 7 games. I mean, you did, but the rest of that team was crap. It really doesn't look amazing on you. It just looks really bad on Toronto for getting swept by that team. But yeah, I think that they're the 5th best team in the conference. I love Oladipo. I'm excited to see if he can have or replicate what he did last year. Sabonis, another year Miles Turner. Aaron Holiday, I'm excited to see him. Hopefully he doesn't go to the G League at all. Derek Collison, who was super efficient last year. Bogdanovich, same with him. I'm very excited to see this team. And Doug McDermott and Tyreek Evans, who I think was a great signing, the Evans signing. Also added Kyle Quinn, so it's going to be a very interesting team. I just don't see them better than Philly, Milwaukee, Toronto, or Boston. Now, 6, 7, 8. 6 was pretty easy. I chose the Washington Wizards. You know what? Now, I feel like this is too easy, and they're either going to end up as like the 5 or the 4 seed, or they're going to end up as like the 8 seed this year. But I just feel like this is where they are, in the middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference. I could see them being better than the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, definitely. I don't really see them being better than the Sixers, Bucks, Raptors, or Celtics. Another year, Bradley Beal and John Wall, added Dwight Howard, added Bruce Brown, Troy Brown in the draft, and I'm excited to see them. I'm not super excited like other teams. Like, it's the same backcourt of Wall and Beal, same. They're sleeping on us, same first round exit. Usually every year, kind of how Portland has been. But yeah, I see them as a 6 seed. I really don't see them higher than that. I don't see them lower than that, but I could be surprised that they could be lower than that. But yeah, I have Washington coming in at 6. Now, if we move to 7 and 8. 7, I think, was pretty easy. Like, I put them down as the Miami Heat there. Obviously, if they trade for Jimmy Butler, I would see them being better than Washington and Indiana. Possibly better than Phil. I don't know. Then I would have to reassess to see who they gave up. But, yeah, if they gave up, if they got Jimmy Butler, obviously they'd be higher. But, really, they're just kind of, I could see them being better than Washington, but that's really it. I could see them missing the playoffs, sure. It all depends on how Goran Dragic plays. He's got to lead that team. Hopefully, Richardson takes the next step this year. Bam Adebayo, I kind of want to see them move Whiteside just so we can see full starting minutes from Bam. Obviously, the Olynyk signing worked out pretty well for them. He played really well for them last year. But yeah, I would say 7 seed. Can't really put them higher. Maybe 6 seed. That's the highest I'll go. Maybe they could miss the playoffs. But at 8, it was hard. It was between Detroit, Chicago, maybe Brooklyn, Cleveland, Charlotte. Those 5. I didn't really see the Knicks or the Magic making it here. But I did have the Chicago Bulls taking the 8 seed. I know they're bad on defense. They're actually extremely bad on defense. But with Jabari Parker, Zach LaVine, Warren Markkanen, they're going to put up points. Wendell Carter and Chris Dunn, those guys are very good at defense. And I don't think they're going to save them on defense. They're still going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. But they're going to put up points, and I think they're just going to, I don't know. It's really hard. Like, if you want to say Detroit's going to be the 8 seed, okay. But it was just hard betting against a team with 5 really good starters, all good at their position at least one thing, offense or defense. And I don't know. I feel like I'm very excited to see Wendell Carter Jr. play. I think him and Markkanen is going to be one of the best backcourts in the league, front courts in the league in a couple years. And just Jabari's going to score. LaVine's going to score. Obviously, they're going to be very hard. It's not going to be good on defense. But Chris Dunn is going to be able to run that team, play some defense. I do have the Bulls making the 8 seed. All right, guys, so now we're moving on to the Western Conference. Now, obviously, we all know that the Rockets actually surprised us and won the Western Conference last year in the regular season, and they were the 1 seed. Obviously, that dealt to Steph Curry injuries, that dealt to Kevin Durant injuries. But this year, I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, adding DeMarcus Cousins is pretty big, adding arguably the best center in the NBA, or the second best, however you want to look at it. And I don't think the Warriors are going to be below the 1 seed. Even if Steph Curry and, say, Klay Thompson are hurt, I mean, that'll hurt them, but, like, I still think they would get the 1 seed. I would book a lot of money that they'll get the 1 seed. I don't think the Rockets or any other team's going to surprise us and take that 1 seed. So I'm going to give it to the Warriors. Number 2 seed, I have it as the Houston Rockets. They did lose Trevor Ariza. They did add Carmelo Anthony. And they also added Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris, but lost Ryan Anderson. And wasn't it DeAnthony Melton they traded? I don't remember if it was DeAnthony Melton. But, yeah, was it DeAnthony Melton? No, it definitely wasn't Melton. Now I don't know who it was. Oh, well, I'm not going to remember off the top of my head in that trade. It wasn't even that big of a trade. But, yeah, I have the Rockets as the 2 seed. Still got the best backcourt in the NBA. And, yeah, I still think they'll take that. At 3 seed. A week ago, I was about to say the San Antonio Spurs. Actually, I 100% would have said the Spurs a week ago. But since the injury to DeJounte Murray, he's out for the regular season, or the whole season, with a torn ACL, which freaking sucks. I thought he was actually going to be my most improved player this year, but obviously I can't make him that anymore. So I have the 3 seed going to the OKC Thunder, who would have had the 4 seed anyway. Obviously, they brought back Paul George. They added Dennis Schroeder. They're going to be a very good team in the Western Conference, no doubt about it. They should be above a top 4 seed. 4 seed, this is where it got a little hard. I actually I don't know if this was a panic pick or just a safe pick in general, but I chose the LA Lakers. Now, you might get mad at me for putting them above the Jazz or the Pelicans or the Spurs. I don't know. But they have LeBron James. They have the best player on the planet. If they have just remotely borderline, actually not even all-star play, but just above average play, which they should get from Lonzo, Kuzma, and Ingram, they'll be fine. It's just the center position is going to be a little bit weak for them. Obviously, having JaVale McGee there, teams can definitely expose that, but LeBron can honestly guard the fives. Not amazingly, but if he actually gave a crap or gave an effort, he actually is definitely a better defender in the post than JaVale McGee. So I have the Lakers at the 4 seed. It gets really hard because I do leave out a couple teams that I think could even make the playoffs in the Western Conference. At the 5 seed, I have the Utah Jazz. Another year of Donovan Mitchell. Hopefully a healthy year from Rudy Gobert. I don't remember who they've added in the offseason. I know they re-signed Exum. They re-signed Derek Favors. They kept the team intact. I just think they're better overall than the Pelicans, Nuggets, Blazers, Grizzlies, and any team I could put below them, Timberwolves. At the 6th seed, I do have the San Antonio Spurs. Now, like I said, losing Murray dropped them a couple spots, but they still have DeMar DeRozan. They have LaMarcus Aldridge, Jakob Poeltl. Who's the other guy? Well, they still have Rudy Gay. Obviously, it sucks that they don't have Murray, and they're not going to have Walker for some time. But if Walker comes back and could just be a good guy off the bench, I think they'll be fine. They obviously have the best coach in the NBA still, so I have them at the 6th seed. 7 and 8 is hard. Now, there was 4 teams for these 2 spots that I was just torn on. It was between the T-Wolves, Nuggets, Pelicans, and Blazers. And at the 7th seed, I did choose the Denver Nuggets, adding Isaiah Thomas in the offseason, adding Michael Porter Jr., who I have no idea if he's going to even play this season. But either way, they just missed out on the playoffs last season by pretty much a play-in game at the end of the year. I think they'll be fine. Jokic got that extension. Paul Millsap, he was out for some time last year, and that was a big injury. He was obviously the best defender on the floor. He was hurt. He'll be back, and I think the Nuggets will definitely make the playoffs this year. Now, 8 seed, it's between the Blazers, Grizzlies, and Pelicans, and I immediately ruled out the Grizzlies. It was between the Timberwolves, Blazers, and Pelicans, and I immediately ruled out the Blazers. They didn't get better in this offseason. They lost Ed Davis. I couldn't even tell you free agent they got off the top of my head. Obviously, they still have one of the best backcourts in the NBA, but a lot of other teams are better now. It's really, like, they don't really have a great front court at all. They just really need Zach Collins to be a very good player this year, or Caleb Swanigan. But yeah, I have this 8 seed going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, if you want to say this will be the T-Wolves, sure. I just didn't know. I'm unsure about the whole Jimmy Butler situation, if he's going to get traded, if that chemistry is just going to go to crap. But yeah, I have the 8 seed going to the Pelicans. It's really tough to put them over the T-Wolves. If you want to say the Timberwolves here, sure. I just really love the Julius Randle signing. I did like who did they get in that backcourt? Elfrid Payton. If they roll like an Elfrid Payton, and then they got Drew Holiday out there, and then they have Randall and Davis, that's very versatile. So yeah, I have the Pelicans at the 8 seed. If you want to say the T-Wolves, sure. I don't know. It's hard to bet against one of the top 5 players in the league in Anthony Davis, or top 6, however you want to put him. I actually think he's on my 6th of top players in the NBA. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the awards. All right, so awards. MVP is going to be, it's tough, because it's going to go to a top 3 seed in the conference. It's not going to go below that, and even putting it at the 3 seed is kind of thin. It's just how the award is. Russell Westbrook was an outlier, even though he shouldn't have won MVP, and I think most of us can agree that award should have went to James Harden. And he just won it because of that stat line that he had of the triple-doubles, but it is what it is. Obviously, there's going to be people in the comments, LeBron should win MVP every year. If you look at that award, you're not really looking at the NBA as a whole. I do agree that he's the most, he's the best player every year, and if that's what you think, it's not the best player award, it's most valuable player award. And obviously, if you took LeBron off the Cavs, they would have won 20 games last year, but if they weren't an elite team with them. I mean, yes, they won the Eastern Conference, but they weren't a top 3 seed in their conference. They weren't a top 2 seed, and it's literally just because the 1 seed was the Raptors, and they just choke in the playoffs, and the 2 seed lost their best 2 players. So it deserved to go to a Western Conference team, and it should have went to James Harden last year because he won the 1 seed and was the best player on the 1 seed, and he deserved MVP. But MVP this year, I don't know. It was either somebody on the Warriors, Rockets. I couldn't really see it to go to anybody on the Thunder, Lakers, and then it was either the Celtics, Raptors, or the Bucks. Now, I don't think if, say, the Bucks were the 2 or the 1 seed, it's going to Giannis, 100%. But if not, I think people are going to be like, Kyrie Irving should be one of the front runners. I just think that team's too good. It's kind of like the reason why Steph Curry or KD don't get in that combo really anymore. Is there's teams too good around them. So I'm actually going to put my MVP down as Kawhi Leonard. I know that's kind of shocking, but if they do get a 2 seed, 58 wins, and say he's just balling out, I think Kyrie or Kawhi will get the votes over other guys. Okay, so now we're going to go on to Rookie of the Year, 6-man, blah, blah, blah. So Rookie of the Year, going after the Summer League, I actually would have made a bold prediction saying Kevin Knox, but after watching the preseason, hell no, he's not winning Rookie of the Year. He's still super raw. I want to say DeAndre Ayton, but I'm not going to actually put like my prediction down. I'm actually going to say Luka Doncic. Dude's looked great in the preseason. He's going to get a lot of playing time, and they're going to be a bad team, the Mavericks, but I think that he will run Rookie of the Year. Honestly, if he balled out, maybe they could be an 18 and surprise all of us, because they did add DeAndre Jordan in the offseason, adding on with Dennis Smith, who is not really much on defense, but he's a very versatile offensive player. Harrison Barnes, who can definitely put up 18 a game. Obviously, Jordan. They got Wesley Matthews and Dirk. They could push for an 18. Their bench is not good at all. But they do have a very good coaching staff, so we'll see. But yeah, Luka Doncic is my Rookie of the Year prediction. Sixth Man of the Year. There's a couple guys. Obviously, you want to throw out the Lou Williams predictions, Eric Gordon predictions. But I'm actually going to say Isaiah Thomas. If he's fully healthy this year, I think he can go back, not obviously to his Boston ways, because he's not going to get that much playing time. But I do think he could be a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. I'm going to put my money on Isaiah Thomas. Say he can put up like 18 a game off the bench. That'd be pretty impressive. Defensive Player of the Year, if he's fully healthy this year, which is probably not going to happen, but if he is, my Defensive Player of the Year prediction is going to be Joel Embiid. I think he could have won it last year if he didn't get hurt. I actually think he would have won it last year if he didn't get hurt. Obviously, Kawhi is going to be in this combo. Draymond Green is probably going to be in this combo, but not as much. And then Rudy Gobert is going to be in this combo. The only person I could see if Kawhi could get this award, but I just didn't want to put Kawhi for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, so I am going to give it to Joel Embiid. Most Improved Player, I would have actually put Murray, like I said before, but I'm going to give this to Julius Randle of the Pelicans. I think he's going to flourish with Anthony Davis at the 5. If he could somewhat develop an outside shooting game, I mean, I don't think he will. I mean, it's very hard for a big man to pick that up when they don't need to go into their career like that. He would be, honestly, I think a borderline all-star, but as a great defender, great inside scorer, mid-range game's not too bad. I think he could win the Most Improved Player this year. He'll get a lot more minutes. Obviously, he's not going to be competing with Kyle Kuzma. He'll be starting. And then Coach of the Year, who I believe should have won Coach of the Year last year, I'm going to give it to Brad Stevens. It hurts putting a Sixer and a Celtic on this list of the awards, but I got to give that to them. I'm not a biased NBA fan. I mean, a lot of people are, but I'm not a biased NBA fan. I know when people should. I mean, you might say I'm biased for putting the 76ers at 4, but I just want to do something different. And I'm actually very high on the Bucks this year. But yeah, I'm giving Brad Stevens Coach of the Year. I think they're going to get the 1 seed. He should have won it last year, but it is what it is. And yeah, Brad Stevens is going to win Coach of the Year. So yeah, that is going to be it for me. That is my awards conference predictions. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. Let me know your awards, or if you have anything that you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. We can have a nice discussion down there. You guys should get a rebound out later today. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.